Hi everyone, how are you today? Welcome all. Welcome to the third episode of ChipTales. I'm so excited after success of our two episodes that have been taken very well by all of you. I'm so happy to be here with the third edition. First episode was with Dhana. We learned about his inspiring journey and his his brilliant hacks to grow in your career. In the second episode, we had a detailed discussion with Arpan Sarkar about the technology and the latest trends and how it is going to affect our careers in semiconductor industry going forward. And today I can't be more happy and proud to present my esteemed guest Alka Jaiswal. So let me just welcome her to the session.
Hey, hi
Hi,
Kritika. Hi everyone.
Hi, Olga. Thank you so much for joining in for Chip Tales, and I'm so excited having you here.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Sure. So let me give you a brief introduction about Olga. Though Alka is an epitome of success herself, but I'll try to put something in words for her. So, Alka is a senior engineering manager and tech lead, both in Intel, and she is a constant source of inspiration to me and a lot of my peers. We work in the same group in Intel, and she has a very inspiring journey. She comes from a small town in Madhya Pradesh, and now she is having this stellar career of 16 plus years in semiconductors, and she is rocking it. So let's get into our conversation with Alka today and learn about her inspiring story. Along that, we'll also ask her about why diversity and inclusion, how important it is to her and to business in semiconductors. And because she is an engineering manager, we will also discuss about future of work with her today. So Alka, over to you. Do you want to give some kind of clue, some kind of idea as to who you are to our audience?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much, Kritika. Thank you for a wonderful introduction. And yeah, I think I have a lot to talk, and especially about this event, about this initiative which you have taken. It's commendable because it is providing a platform to many young students as well as young professionals to still like how to cast their career path and also how to get inspired, and for people like us you are giving an opportunity to do our bit in the way that we can share our experiences and at least provide some inspiration to some of the people. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Alka. Chip Tales is only possible because of all inspiring leaders like you who generously come forward and share their insights about semiconductors with us. Thank you so much. So let me start with some kind of rapid fire. Are you okay in taking some kind of fiery questions to start our
Sure,
conversation?
sure, shoot.
Oh, okay, sure. Let's start. Try to answer these questions in one word or maybe in one or two sentences. Let's keep it short. So,
Okay.
tell me one thing about you that is not on your LinkedIn profile.
Okay, so slightly more than a word. Okay, so something which is not there on my LinkedIn profile is that I have worked as a VLSI trainer prior joining to the corporate world. So in Mumbai, I was part of a training institute, VLSI Training Institute, and they used to conduct trainings in some of the colleges. So we used to have 8 days, 10 days kind of training where we used to provide VHDL programming knowledge to them, little bit about the VLSI industry, and also put them do some projects on the FPGA board. So yeah, that is not mentioned in my LinkedIn profile.
Oh, wow, that's so amazing. You have a very good background of inspiring younger folks and sharing that knowledge. I think that shows with your management style that that I have got to experience personally. Okay, so tell me one thing. So you are an engineering manager and a tech lead. Which role do you enjoy the most?
Actually, it's difficult to differentiate between the two because I think both go hand in hand. If you are not doing technical stuff, you won't be able to manage the people, especially in the engineering field, that well. And if you are not having good management style, then you cannot work with the people and you cannot provide them directions or build the trust with the people you're working with. So I think both go hand in hand.
Okay, that's fair. That's absolutely perfect answer. Thank you, Olga. So tell me one thing. What do you prefer, book or podcast?
Book, definitely book. Yeah.
Okay, so what was the last book that you had the chance to read?
Okay, so I am generally a non-fictional person. Okay, and the last book I was reading was from Sadhguru. Actually, it was on Adi Yogi. But yeah, I have recently started reading books on that. But prior to that, I have read like Shiv Khera, Brian Weiss, Dale Carnegie, all these other good authors which I read through. Yeah,
Amazing. That shows the amount of positivity and the kind of that I think spirituality and that kind of outlook helps you a lot in your personal and
for
professional
sure.
life, and that shows.
Yes,
Thank you
sure.
for sharing that. And now, the most fiery question: what is the most used app in your phone?
I'll say WhatsApp. Yeah, because I have a 11-year-old son and I have to be updated on so many groups and he doesn't have phone. So yeah, for that and as well as connected to everyone else. So I think yeah, WhatsApp.
Oh, that's great.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is one new question that we have added. So I'll share a couple of leaders with you, and you can tell us if you can take one quality from them, what would
Sure.
that be? So
Mhm.
our first leader is Padam Vibhushan Ratan Tata ji. What is the one quality if you
My
could take
God, the
from
name
him?
itself is like full of respect. And the moment you hear, you feel like so you have so much of respect for him. One word I will say is visionary. He's a great
Visionary.
visionary. Yeah.
Yes, definitely, I agree with you. I don't think he is probably the only person who has no haters. Okay. What about Satya Nadella, CEO Microsoft?
A lot to learn from him, especially his leadership styles. The way I think he leads with empathy. That's phenomenal, and I think all the leaders should learn from him. This one quality.
Yes, that's so
Yeah.
true. What can one learn from Prime Minister of New Zealand, Zakandia Ardern?
Okay, so this will be more than a word because she is a true inspiration for any young women, I would say, because she is the first ever youngest female prime minister of New Zealand. And she had given birth to a kid while she was serving the office, right, on the term.
Hmm.
And also many other things, like many events she has done with her kid when the kid was very young in her lap. So I think a lot to learn from her, that we should have no hindrance in taking both our career as well as our personal life together, because motherhood is natural, and if you have passion towards your career, that is also something you should pursue. One should not stop the other, and she is a true example of this.
Absolutely, Oika. Like she is altogether a trendsetter in how to run a country and as well as manage her kids.
Definitely.
I think she treats her country like her kids. She is all into it, and she treats her kids like country, and everything is mixed. Like she never differentiates. I'm this at a time. She is both at all
Both.
times, and that is why she rocks.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you feel? Empathy, is it a weakness or is it a strength?
Oh, for sure, it's a strength. It can never be a weakness, because empathy is so much required when you're dealing with people, and we all are human at first, right? So that we should never forget. And I think our VP and GM Sambit Sahu, he always, whenever there are some connect sessions or some meetings, he always emphasizes on this thing. And I completely believe in this one line from Liz Fossey, which says that people can forget what you said, people can forget what you did, but people can never forget how you made them feel. And it is so touching and it is so true, because you can relate to it. Empathy is putting yourself into someone else's shoes and thinking up from their perspective, or looking at their, basically what problems they are facing and what kind of environment they are in and why they are saying or doing certain things. So it gives you a different perspective about others. It helps us to deal as a leader with the people in a very nice way at a very human level, and it builds a lot of trust. So I think it's a strength and it is very much required.
Yes, I'm totally with you, Alka. I love that you brought it forward. The kind of environment that, as an employee, I feel that I work with, uh, my concerns as a human, or at my personal level, are really understood at a way, through a very empathetic lens, and I love that about working in my company. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, now tell me, who is your role model? Who inspires you to get out of your bed every day and give your best?
Okay, so it will not be a short answer, little longer. So first of all, when I was a kid, and I think for most of us, the first role model I had was my mother. So she was a teacher, and she was very good at her work. So like she was a great inspiration, and I always aspired to be like her, the way she used to multitask at home with two kids and with her school. And many a times her students used to come with flowers and gifts and everything to praise her, and they liked her so much. She was praised by the students, she was praised by her colleagues. So that was something which inspired me a lot, and I used to feel so proud being her daughter. So that was my first role model. The second was my grandmother. So my grandmother was like around 70s when I was born. So you can imagine that she was quite old, and she was like from the early 19th century she born. But she was very open minded, and she always had the desire to learn new things. She was uneducated. So initially, she used to put thumb impressions basically on many of the government papers or other forms where the signatures were required. But this thing always pinched her, and she asked us, like the grand kids of hers, to teach her how to write letters, and at least bring her to a level where instead of thumb impression, she could write her name at least, because she used to feel so bad about the thumb impression. The other quality was continuous learning. Whenever she used to visit to someone's home, relatives or neighbors or anyone, and she sees some new art and craft kind of work done, or some new dish was being prepared, she will always ask how this is done, how it is made, and she will come back home and she wanted to try the same thing. So she had this continuous desire of learning, which was very good, and she was on her feet till the age of 96. She was very much running, cooking, doing her own stuff. So she took care of herself also so well. So yeah, she's another role model. And the third and last but not the least, Nivriti Rai, our country head, definitely an inspiration. In spite of having these role models at home, the kind of mindset I had for the females who used to work was like, okay, they are supportive, they are supporting income, or they are secondary incomes basically, but men's career is more important, or basically women cannot lead. I never thought about leading or directing or taking up some positions or something like that. But I met Nivriti on my first day at Intel. So my manager, he took me to get introduced to Nivriti because she was our group head at that point of time. And the moment I saw her, it was like, I think she is one person whose positivity just reflects, means you can feel that positivity when you're around her. And there were like two, three senior people standing and talking to her, and the way she was interacting with them, the way she was guiding them, I think that just sparked something inside me, and that changed the complete mindset. And I started thinking about, instead of a job, about the career. And so it was, my work was never a job from then on. It was always like career building, and do something like her, and take some leadership role for sure. Sorry,
Wow.
I'm having a bad throat today.
Okay, I
Yeah,
hope you're feeling better now,
yeah,
Alka.
yeah.
Okay, and thank you for this answer. I think mother and grandmothers are the first female leaders we all get to learn from in all of our houses. And they have a very long lasting impact on how we think, how we function. And with that, I think the fact that on the first day of Alka's joining Intel, she got to meet the legendary Nivruti, whom, by the way, I'm manifesting having some kind of one-on-one with her. So far it has not happened. Fingers crossed. And I can just imagine the kind of impact that could have had on you, and you, that could have just channeled so many right things in you, because now you also see somebody, and that too a female, in predominantly when you started around some 16, 17 years back, it was predominantly a male dominated industry. It still is, but the numbers are better. But like at that time when you saw her in a senior leadership role, I can just wonder the kind of impact that would have you would have that would have had on your psyche. And it's amazing. I think, Alka, the same happened with me when I joined Intel. In a few months after I joined Intel, I saw you, and I saw you surrounded by
Oh,
all my peers and looking for guidance. How do we manage this? How do I convey this? And I think for me, that person was you. Thank
oh,
you so
I'm
much.
honored.
I don't think you knew that. I never told you.
I'm honored, Kritika. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just like to remind my audience that this is a live session and we are open to taking questions and comments and opinions from you in the chat section. Do communicate with us, do share your questions and thoughts so that we can make this session more interactive. Alka, I hope you are better. Do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want to take a break?
No,
We
no,
can take
that's
a break. Okay, okay,
no.
sure.
I think we can continue. That's fine.
Okay, in case you want to take a break, we can always take
Sure,
a break.
sure. Yeah.
It Oh, okay, thank you.
Mm.
So we'll start with the first question. And yes, we are open to questions from the audience. The question is that you come from a very small town named as Nimach in MP. And now you're having a stellar career as semiconductor leader. How has life been for you? Like how did that transition happen?
Okay. I would say that it was not easy, but I think there were many people who helped me do that. So, first of all, to start with, I never thought to be an engineer in the first place from the childhood. So, I always looked up to my mother and I always thought that I'll be a teacher. Okay, but then in class six, basically my class teacher, and I was a very fond kid of teachers in my school. I had a very good rapport with my class teacher, and she was from army background, but she told me this thing that Alka, I wanted to become engineer, but my parents never allowed me. And my father, he always thought that engineering is not for females, not for girls. And though I could not live my dream, but I want you to pursue this, and I'll be very happy if you take engineering as a profession when you grow up. And I don't know why, from that day, whenever someone used to ask me what you want to become, I'll always say engineer without knowing anything. Basically, I did not have any idea what it takes to become engineer, what engineers have to do, because I'm the first person in my entire family, from my mother's side, from my father's side, I'm the first engineer. Not only female, but like entirely. It's
Hmm.
me. So I did not know how to take it forward. But then I just decided that yes, I want to be engineer. When I passed class 10th and now it's time to choose the subjects, and by that time I knew that yeah, we have to take maths to become engineer, to get into the entrance for an engineering exam. So I took maths. My father wanted me to become a doctor, but I didn't want to, and so I took maths and I came back home. My father was not happy with my decision, and he told me, "No, you study biology as well." So in 11th and 12th, I studied both maths and biology. I gave entrance test for both engineering as well as for medical uh, colleges. I got selected for the engineering one and I started pursuing it. And when I was a kid, I was a very shy, timid, introvert, very quiet child. I was not at all a talkative person. I would not know basically the person next to me what that he or she is doing. I will be least bothered about that. I'll be into myself. Then I became engineer, and then I did post graduation. While I was doing post graduation, basically this is something which I would like to talk. at a personal level that my father wanted me to get married after my bachelor's. Okay. And when he was sending me for engineering, basically to stay in the hostel and out, there were many relatives, many friends of my father who were against it, because at that time there was a big notion about girls being getting higher education, or at least to send them out and stay in hostel and live like this. So there was lots of resistance. But my father was very like determined that no, if she wants, I'll send her. So he went against the odds, and he definitely motivated me and sent me. But after my engineering, somehow he was like inclined towards getting me married, and so my engagement was also done. And then I got selected for MTech. The moment I got this admission or selection, basically the notice for the selection, I called up my fiance at that point of time, and I told him that, see, I got selected. Now, if you want to get married, I'll not pursue with the admissions and the formalities. I'll not do that. And if you want to me to uh, pursue this, we'll get married after I'm done with my tech course. And since then, he's my rock pillar strength, every time supporting me till now. And he told me that you go ahead, get your admission done. I'll take care of everything, convincing parents and everything. And that is how I did my MTech. And in the final semester, we got married. And I started actually working after marriage. So generally, there was a perception at that point of time that after marriages, girls don't work. For me, it was opposite. I started working after my marriage. I relocated to Bangalore when I joined Intel while my husband was working in Mumbai. So he relocated because of me here and supported me. So that way, there was lots of support from my father, from my husband, because of which I always felt motivated that I could go and do things. I can live the life I wanted to live, that I want to be independent. I wanted to take my own decisions, and I definitely want to have or achieve something in my life. So that is how I pursued it. And yeah, the rest is history now.
Yeah, Alka, this is truly inspiring. I think this rightly, we come back to the same thing that they say that behind every successful man, there is a woman, and behind every successful woman, there is a father, there's a husband, there's a mother. Basically,
Yes.
the full family is there to support her. And it's truly exceptional that despite all the conventional mindset issues, the conventional things that we have in our society, you have forged, moved forward and forged a great career for you in semiconductors. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that is going to empower a lot of youngsters out there who are still in the early phases of trying to identify how do they build their career in semiconductors. Thank you so much. One thing is that going forward, like when you were growing up, you did not see a lot of engineers, right?
No,
But
none.
then how did you decide? You said medical or non-medical, but what was your parent like? You did not have somebody, a role model, or a defined career in front of you. Then how did you feel that semiconductors or STEM in general was the right for
Yeah,
you?
so as I told that it was not a thoughtful decision from like the technicalities point of view, if I'll say, it was more of determination and a belief that yeah, this is definitely good. That is why my class teacher has passed me this dream that you should pursue it. So that was the thing. But of course, yeah, when I went to 11th and 12th, I started understanding much more. I knew what there were not too many branches at that point of time, but yeah, whatever the major ones, I knew that. And there were very few girls. Actually, for maths and biology, we were only three girls in our class. When I went to engineering again, I took electronics and telecommunication, and there used to be more girls, I would say, in computers and IT departments, right, as compared to electronics, and even less we see in mechanical or production or civil, right? So at that point of time, it was very less. And I would also say that one perception which people used to have at that point of time, even for the girls who have taken electronics, is just that they want to become engineer so that they can get married to some NRI and get settled outside. Okay, no one ever imagined that these girls are actually doing something to pursue in industry. At max they would think that okay, they'll become a lecturer or a professor, but not
Hmm.
that they will work in a corporate world. That was very much because I will say that there were very less role models at that point of time. There was not much, this was not a much talked about topic even in the colleges. Or apart from that, there was not internet, this wide usage of internet which we have, the access to so many resources where we can see, find information, and learn from others. So I think yeah, that was one drawback for sure. But in spite of all odds, I think the universe conspired to make it possible for me. And I think yeah, that is how I got into it.
That's most amazing, Alka. Now, presently you are in senior engineer manager and tech lead. Now, tell me, what all changes did you see in the pandemic and post-pandemic world? How did you see that affected the kind the kind of work we did, or let's say the mode through which we work, and what do you think that trend is going to be going forward?
Okay. So I will not say that it has affected work in a bad way. Okay. I think the kind of like during the pandemic, it was completely work from home, and now we are moving towards the hybrid thing. So it was from like complete remote to hybrid, we are moving. When we were doing like complete remote, I think there was a complete interaction and communication and the relationship built up with the team and with the senior management. At least in Intel, I will say that we always felt connected. There was never a point of time where we will say that we are not connected, we are lost, we do not know what to do, or it is affecting our releases, our tape-ins, or our post silicon validations. I think we had good amount of tape outs, so it has not affected anything. But going forward in long term, I feel hybrid is the future, and it is good in a way because it gives us both the flexibility as well as a time to come to office to interact with our colleagues, because physical interaction is also very much required. There are times when you have to debug something, or you are discussing a serious problem, you need some whiteboard discussions with the team and the people you're working with. So it is very much required. And also, as a human, when we meet physically, there is a special connection we build, right? So that is required. But at the same time, this pandemic has proved that work can continue remotely also, because nothing was affected in terms of productivity, I will say, or in terms of quality. So we can enjoy the best of both the worlds now, being in the hybrid, and I think that's the future.
Totally with you, Alka. One thing that I feel is a very hot topic on LinkedIn is, one is that, can our industry embrace remote working going forward?
Okay, so it is actually completely depends on the type of work you're doing, because semiconductor industry, when we talk, it's not only one kind of work which we do, right? Semiconductor work involves IP design, SoC design, IC design, fabrication, software, firmware, validation, pre-silicon, post-silicon, right? All sorts of work are there. So now it depends on the kind of work you are doing, which can, if it can be managed completely remote. For example, if someone is working in the lab for the post stuff, they cannot completely work remotely. They need to be there in the labs at some point of time. But if there is something which you can manage, you don't need to be in the lab or physically present to do certain work, then you can work remotely also. And that is where I said that most of our work is something which do not require us to be in office 100% of the times. And so I think hybrid is the best way, and completely remote definitely can be possible for the people who do not need to be physically present for any kind of thing, but then it reduces the human interaction. And when you meet someone physically, it builds a special connection, it builds more trust. So I think that sometimes being physically present will help, and that is my answer to this.
Yes, thank you for sharing that, Alka. Alka, as an engineering manager, what all challenges have you faced because of this new mode of work coming into picture?
Okay, frankly speaking, none. Okay, so I think I'm blessed with a good team. who is always supportive, and I have a very good relation with the team. So I've never faced any challenge as such. So that's that's not. I I would just like to focus something on what people think from, or even I used to have this perception many years back that it's a title. Okay, it's like engineering manager, being a manager or being a lead or whatever is a title, it's a position. But I think it's more of a responsibility. It's not a title. It's uh, now you are not thinking about yourself, you are thinking about the people you're working with. It's not it, and it's always mutual. It's your success cannot be 100%, or you cannot be 100% successful if your team is not successful, and if your team is not successful, you it's vice versa. I think it has to be mutual. If you have that kind of relationship, then I don't think there will be any challenge. You have to have a good trust with your team members, you have to think about the growth of your team members, you have to be very open, very direct, and be present when the team needs you, when people need you, and give them the right direction. And if you build on this, I don't think there is any challenge. And treat them like a family. For me, my team is like extended family for me. So the same way, and sometimes maybe it may sound like philosophical, but like when you become parent, it's not a title which you get, it comes along with lots of responsibility, because now you have kids to be taken care and their life entirely depends on you. And similarly, when you become a manager, it's your team's life or career basically, I'll say, is which what is dependent on you, their success, their and associated life and events in their life are, are related to you, and you are responsible somehow or somewhere to give it a good shape. So if you treat like this and take it forward, I think there will be hardly any challenges, because both will work for each other.
Uh, that's brilliant, Alka. You have just described what are the major differences between a good manager and a bad manager. All these things I think are very important for somebody to lead a team and not just be a boss. And you have beautifully put it. I was just taken aback. I was like, wow, it's like the best manager out there. Thank you so much for sharing it.
I'm trying to, I don't know best or no, not, but yeah, I'm trying to.
Okay. So, Alka, let me ask one more flavor of this question. Now, you say that your team is an extension of your family. It's kind of an extension family. You are, as a manager, you try to do the best by them. You try to be fair and honest and transparent with them. But now the truth of corporate is that people tend to move teams. People tend to change companies and all. So then, as a manager, how do you look at that?
Okay, see, I think it's okay, because ultimately they are individuals, right? And you have your own career aspirations, you have thought something in your life, right? So if the person is leaving because something which I cannot offer, or it does not align with what they are aspiring for and my current role and the limitations, I will be very happy for that person if that person takes that decision and make a move, because ultimately I am not there to limit anyone's growth, or it's not like bonded thing that I have a bond that people will never leave me. It's up to them. If they feel that they are growing and they are learning and they are on the right career path with me, it's very good. I would definitely like to do more for them. But if they feel that, yeah, that is not happening, or they feel that there is something which they want to do, which the current work is not offering them, then yeah, I think it should be okay, and we should not just stop people from doing that.
Even Harika, I have realized that semiconductors is a relatively small world. In our mind, we feel बहुत companies है and बहुत opportunities है, but it's a small world. So it's always important to build good reputation and connections. And when you move out of a role, people are very mature. People understand that maybe you have outgrown that particular position and you want to grow in whatever verticals, whatever factors. Always get out on a good terms. Try to be very honest and transparent with what you aspire and what you are not getting in the current role. I think that honesty, that being open, having that frank discussion helps you
Definitely it does,
actually
yeah.
grow leave on a good terms. I think which is very important. A lot of folks keep forgetting that, but it's very important to leave your old role in very good terms.
Yes, yes.
Bringing that up is very good. Uh, Sometimes, like there are some few people who are not happy with their managers when we meet. They are like saying a lot of things. Okay, ye nahi hua, wo nahi hua, and the wisest in the group always tell them that go and have this frank conversation with your manager and try to work it out. I'm pretty sure this issue can be worked out.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Many problems can be just solved by open discussions. People hesitate to do that, but I think that is where like our relationship comes into picture because we need to have that kind of relationship where people can trust you and can come and openly talk and discuss their problems and tell that okay, this is not happening and that is why they want to take a particular decision. And but that open communication is very much required.
definitely. There's a lot of questions from our audience. They want to know from fresher who want to join semiconductors, what are the key skills they should try to develop or they should have to build a stellar career like you?
Okay, so I'll say that first of all, the basics should be very thorough. People should focus on their basic understanding on the digital logics, on the electronic circuits, on the different concepts and different domains. And also, I think if your basics are clear, you can do or take on the job and take it to the next level. So that is very much required to enter. And after that, it is more of your I will say it is more of your attitude which matters, that you should always be continuously learning, because semiconductor industry is nothing like you have learned something and you can continue throughout your career with the same thing. There will be changes, there will be new things, new technologies, new protocols, new IPs, so many new things which will be coming, and new tools. So you have to have that, what to say, a fire to continuously learn and those things and understand those things. Don't limit yourself from the learning perspective. So basics are what you can do at the start of your career, or basically when you're in the academics, because that is the best you can do. Be thorough on your basics, and but work on your, I'll say, the soft skill, which is like your attitude, that you should have an attitude where you think that you know everything, because that is never going to happen. You should have always a desire to learn more things, keep your eyes and ears open, understand from what others are doing. Not every time you will do the thing which you want or others want, right? But when you keep your eyes and ears open, you understand a broader perspective. So depth is something definitely you should grow in your own domain. But for breadth, it is very important that keep your eyes, ears open, understand what others are doing, what they are talking, and that will help you decide on further when you are like 5 years experience or 10 years experience, what path to choose. But in the early years of your career, I think you should be open to everything and grab the opportunities you're getting, especially to learn.
That's absolutely right, Alka. I think there are two major learnings that are coming forward. One is always concentrate on your basics. Advances, the latest trend is always going to evolve and change, but you should be able to link whatever you are doing or whatever is the latest trend to your basics. Only then you can grow in your career. And second thing is that the attitude to learn. If you feel that you are the smartest person in the room, you are most likely in the wrong room.
And you will fail eventually.
Yes. There's also one more very question coming from from our audience. They are trying to understand how does doing masters from India versus doing masters from the States, how is that compared to the opportunities one might get in semiconductors?
I don't think it makes too much of difference basically, because as I said, it all depends on what you have learned in terms of your basic concepts, right? Whether it is Indian institute or it is outside from states, I don't think it matters too much, because your knowledge is the key wherever you're getting it. If you are capable and you have built those skill sets which are required to be part of the semiconductor industry, I think that is more than sufficient.
Yes, absolutely. I think, okay. Prananjay, okay, he's asking this question again and again. So let's try to answer. He wants to know what is the best path to enter into VLSI industry. Is it doing masters? Is it doing some kind of certification course? Or is it just getting whatever opportunity you are getting right now and build on top of that?
I think anyone, I'll say. I have seen people who are just bachelors and they are doing fabulous job and they have reached to quite senior, good senior positions. Okay, and it's not that they have done bachelors in VLSA. Of course, that's not possible. Or they have done any specialized courses. So that also is possible. It all depends on how knowledgeable you are, how much you understand the subject. Many people have joined after doing some courses for 6 months, 1 year, like diploma kind of courses also. And of course, we have many people who have done masters in the BLSI domain. So I think it is not limited, or it one is not blocking. Means I'm not saying that okay, if you are just bachelors, you cannot join the BLSI industry. You can very much join the BLSI industry.
So there's a lot of debate between tier one colleges and tier two, tier three
Yes.
colleges. So I understand tier one colleges have campus placements where Intel and other companies are coming to hire, but in
Mhm.
tier two, that opportunity may not be there. So how do you see that people are making a path into
Okay.
CLSI after doing bachelor's from tier two or tier
Yeah.
three college?
So how, and I'll tell you from the what I have seen so far. Okay. So from the people who have done their bachelor's from the tier two colleges, either they have done the masters, that is different. If we are talking that if you have not done the masters and not done any courses, then what you do, I have seen that there are so many other companies who are not product companies basically, but they are the service companies, right? They do hire from the tier 2 colleges also, and then you get on job training in those companies, and then you create a path towards the product company. So I have seen many people doing that as well. So it's not that you cannot enter. Definitely, you have to take a different path, but it is possible that way.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Olga. I think this is all there. Like, I get 30 questions every day exactly on this topic, and I'm telling them the same thing that, you know, whatever is the lowest barrier path you are able to get right now, take that and get into the industry, learn,
Right.
and you
Mhm.
will get a lot of opportunities to transition from A to B and B to C. And when you make that transition, the gap in your pay is also going to improve.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. So that was a lot of questions about how do we make our career into VLSI, what is the future of VLSI, and also side note difference between a good manager and a bad manager. Thank you. Explore diversity and inclusion side now. I think everybody who gets a chance to talk, you are a you are an you are a diversity and inclusion champion. You are into all these initiatives, events, and trying to create awareness on a lot of sensitive topics around this thing. So I want to understand from a business perspective, how does a diverse workforce helps?
Okay. So when we talk about diversity, I'm not talking about the gender diversity at all. Okay, because diversity comes in many forms. It can be from color to language to region to your preferences to like your disabilities, so many other things. But think of it as if you are having people from all these diverse backgrounds, they will have a different skill sets, they will have a different perspective towards a particular problem, solving a particular problem. They will have their own backgrounds and their experience that has made them what they are or defined their personality basically. So when you have all these diverse kind of skills present in one place, what happens is your team is not a homogeneous team. Then it is a mix of, you can say, a bouquet. If it is of only one color, it doesn't look that pretty. If it is like having colors of flowers of different colors, so it makes your team very beautiful in terms of the knowledge it brings in, the experience it brings in, and like it definitely helps in giving a different perspective to a particular problem and a particular scenario, and in solving it and in decision making. It increases the creativity, I will say, of the team. It brings in lots of innovation because now the diverse things, you are able to think something which you could not have ever thought before. So it gives you a new perspective and you can think about more innovation. So I think the most of the innovation comes from the teams which are very diverse. And if we talk about the workplace or the organizations, the more innovative the organization is, the the more successful it is, right? The more products you will be able to make, the more business areas you will be able to cover. So definitely diversity is one thing which is very much required, and it is useful for the team to grow. For us also, I will say that when you have a like-minded people, you all will think the same way. It will never broaden your perspective, it will not never broaden your horizon of thinking. But when you have people from diverse background, it helps in your development as well. Apart from the team, apart from the organization, as a person you will grow because you will hear more from different perspectives.
Thank you for sharing that. I think it's a very important question from audience. Anil asked that what opportunities exist for religious minorities in high-tech industry in today's India? I think it's a very important question.
I i understand it's a very important thing, and it is a critical thing, but to be very honest, I don't know today if there is a special privilege or a special, I will say, initiative which is being taken in the companies at least to have use this religious diversity. I'm not aware about that.
Okay.
I know people like companies like Intel, we have iTen, we have iGlow, we have many other things to promote the female diversity also, but this is something I'm not aware of. But given this question, I'll definitely explore and try to find out and see what, and it will be a good learning for me as well.
Sure. Thank you, Alka. I think the people who are getting the opportunity to see this recording are hands-on learning how to grow in your career, and how to identify who is the good manager and who is not. This opportunity I got after
It's
working for
my
a
pleasure
very
if
long
I can
time.
add to something. Yeah.
Yeah, people can really see the kind of answers that you are framing and how you are giving that. And even for the last question, you thought that I know what you might be thinking, but you actually wanted to give the right answer, absolutely right answer, and not just a generic answer. And you took an A, and I'll get back on that. I think that's a brilliant attitude. People who are watching this chat, learn. Alka is the perfect handbook as to how to grow in your career. These are very critical skills that only very great leaders exhibit. And I'm very fortunate.
Thank you.
I'm getting to see this hands on from you, and I'm making a big fuss about it because it is something to make a big fuss about.
Thank you so much.
Now, so Alka, in the last question, we talked about various initiatives for female workforce. So, as a female semiconductor leader, how do you feel that somebody like us, somebody like you, somebody from our society can make an impact to help them
Okay.
grow in their careers?
I think I'll take it to a different perspective and then I'll come to semiconductor, because this is a most common, I think, topic across the nation, or I think at least in the educated sector of the people, that how to bring females forward and why it is very important, especially in a country like India. So if we go by the studies, there are many reports which say that there are very few females who pursue the engineering, electronics engineering. They make and then the number even reduces when it comes to the hardware kind of job. And if we see that our country is, we have 50% females, 50% male, like in general we can say. But how much percentage of women are contributing in the GDP of a country? Very less. I think if we go by the studies, it is the least amongst all the nations, right? In general, I think it is some in 40s or 50s, but in India, it is like 17% or so, which the females are contributing to. And why it is happening? Because most of the females, they are doing involved into the household work, and but that is not contributing to economy. That is not contributing to the GDP, and that is reducing the purchasing powers of the families, because people in general have to understand the importance of dual income, what it can bring in. Okay. Now, there were times, and I'll go to a philosophical angle here because this is a topic which is very close to me, and that is why I'll take a little longer to talk about this. Because, see, if we talk even in the mythologies, right, in our culture and many other books, okay, so when the mankind started, man and women are equal, right? And there is nothing like one is superior to other or one is dominant. Both have to be there, and they are equally important for the existence of this earth itself. When we say mother earth, right, it is composed of like purush and prakriti, and
Hmm.
both have to be there, then only this existence is possible. And that it was pretty much like that. But when the human civilization started growing, of course, because of the biological differences between the males and the females, that time that there was no automation, there was no technological development or machines which can help the household work. Males took more of the physical work, they became the breadwinners, and the females took up the responsibility of taking up the care of the kids and taking care of the household, of cooking and all these things. And eventually, when money came into, till today, we know that money is so powerful that the people who are making more money, they're considered powerful. They are considered, their voices are, and they are considered as, or they feel dominant as compared to the people who are not earning that much. And that happened pretty much that time also, that since males started making money, they started taking the decisions, they started feeling this dominance, and that ego rose. And that is how the other gender started little bit suppressed, they started suppressing it. But now things have completely changed because of the technological development, and semiconductor industry is one of the biggest contributor, because now we have so many devices where automation is possible because we have semiconductor chips into it, there is connectivity, and all this is possible because of semiconductors. And I'm so proud to be part of this industry for this. But that has eased the problems which were faced earlier also. So at the household now, you have all the helps, you have all the devices to help you get your work done quickly without any physical extensive things required. And for the males also, it is not that now it is only the physical dominant or physically extensive work is required to make money, right? It is more of softwares and so many other domains, I'll say, that the physical work is not required. And that is where now we are at an inflection point, that it's the right time for the females to come forward and start working and start contributing to the economy. And for as a society, it is very important to encourage those females and to provide an environment where the females can come forward and make them comfortable, instead of questioning them that, okay, if you're going out for work, who will take care of the home or who will
Hmm.
take care of the kids? We have to have a right infrastructure where the kids can be taken care. We have to have right support system. We need to have a safety in the workplaces so that less questions are being raised. And so once we have all this in place, I think it's not that one gender is superior, one gender is more intelligent, or one gender is dominant. Both are equally important, both are equal competent, and both are having a different perspective. Of course, we say that men are from Mars and women from Venus, right? Because they bring in different skill sets, they have a different perspective. One of the biggest example is the Mangalyaan mission which has
Hmm.
happened. I think most of us have watched the movie Mission Mangal, and what we learn from that is that, see, it was led by most of the female scientists, right? And despite of so many odds in terms of finance, in terms of technology, that was possible, or the time constraint, it was possible because women brought in different perspective to solve the problems. If we can do that, I think we can contribute everywhere. That is what I want, that even the females have to change the mindset, males have to change the mindset. As a society, we need to work together. And I think there is another study which tells that, okay, if women gets the equal opportunity, we can contribute to 770 billion US, like contribution to the GDP, right, to the growth of
Hmm.
GDP. And for sure, our mission or our prime minister's mission to have 1 trillion digital economy is very much possible if women comes and they take the forces and they start contributing, and males start supporting them in their thing. So together, not only for your households, for your kids, but for the nation also you will contribute, and we can definitely take India to the next level. And now coming to the semiconductor industry, I think we are at a point where the government is taking so many. And recently we have heard that Union Cabinet has granted some 76,000 crores for the semiconductor development and manufacturing. So there are lots of policies, there are lots of initiatives which are happening in the country, and there is no when we talk semiconductor industry, there is variety of jobs available, variety of skills are required for that. So I think if females start getting those skills, gaining on that and learning them, and start contributing in whatever way they could, I think the IS and the Indian Semiconductor Mission is very much possible, and we together can contribute in this. So I'm sorry for the very big answer, but I really wanted to talk about this.
Yeah, Alka, not at all. It was just such a brilliant question. I'll just try to summarize what you have said. So earlier we were in Stone Age, agricultural age, where the strength of man was somehow needed outside of the house, and females were needed inside of the house to make sure that the siblings lived. And that is why we had this division of work, that men will go out, get food for the family, and female will make sure that the family stays alive, quote unquote. And but now, as we are in innovation era, the things have changed. The same work that man can do on technology front, female is also equally educated or can be educated to contribute in the same level. So it's time for us to re-evaluate how the division of labor happens between a male and a female in a household. And I think one more point that you have touched upon is that, uh, like your mother, is a teacher, was a teacher when they were practicing
Hmm.
in school. So the kind of challenges that they saw are very different from the kind of challenges that
Exactly. We
you
can't
would have
imagine
seen.
what they have faced. True.
Yes. So like my mother was also a school teacher, and I know that she used to go to school, stand the entire day, teach, come back, and then she was cooking food. She used to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. I can't even think about doing that to ensure that the family is proper, clothes are washed, and a lot of all those things. But the kind of challenges that we face are different now because we have gone through the tough cycle now. So the cycle is relatively easier, not saying that it's not tough, but going down the line, as we keep on doing this cycle again and again, I believe there is a good chance. I am optimistic that we will reach an equilibrium where man and female will become equal in terms of providing for the family and taking care of the family, and things will become much better, and everybody will become equal even in our thoughts. And I'm very hopeful that semiconductors is a very strong agent to do that, because for the current cycle that we are in, semiconductors gives a lot of options.
Definitely.
So first, it's a gender pay difference is one of the least in various industries. It's around 90%, if I'm not wrong, in semiconductors, whereas in other industries comparing to semiconductors, it's around 70% right now. So the gender pay gap is less. We get options of working in remote if your personal requirement requires you
Definitely.
to be at home. You can go for a role that allows you the option to be at home, take care of your personal situation, and also keep on continuously growing in your professional life and contribute to the business, the country, the GDP, and other things. And the third thing is that we become a very strong role models for our kids, because now
Yes.
they will be the next cycle of generation who will go through that, and they'll become
Yes.
better partners when they see this particular
Right.
situation.
Just to add one more point, Kritika, see, many companies, including Intel, are taking lots of initiatives to bridge the gap, to promote the female leaders, or to have like gender equality, right, at workplace. And not only it, many other companies are also doing it. But what I meant to say was that as a society we need to change, because companies can do certain things, but at home, after coming at home, if you are not seeing that, then you feel demotivated. So as the family members, as a complete society, we have to change that mindset, and then together, because companies are taking initiatives, if the families also start supporting, I think we will be in a very good place.
Yes, definitely. And I think that change is only going to come through the females that have asserting their voices, listening to their minds, following their hearts, and at the same time, they are finding the right support with their family and their companies. This change is
Right.
definitely going to come. So, thank you so much, Alka, for this valuable session.
Thank you,
We
Kritika, for giving this opportunity to talk and like at least talk my heart and share my views. So thank you so much.
Yeah, loved it, Alka. I think this was the most candid, honest, out there, full of nuggets of knowledge conversation that one can possibly think about in VLSI world. Everything is there. We are open. We have answered most of the questions from our audience. We have touched on very important topics such as future of work as well as diversity and inclusion in industry and why we need it and how do all of us benefit from it. And Alka, thank you so much. I know that you are having a bad throat day. And still, thank you so much for coming and sharing your knowledge and your insights with ChipTales audience. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, Ilka. Loved
And thanks
every bit of
everyone
it.
for joining and watching this. Thank you.
Sure. Send your love to Alka. She is on LinkedIn. Either comment below what all good, sweet messages you want to share with Alka for coming up and sharing so much knowledge with us. Let's keep in touch. Let's keep growing together and stay tuned for the next episode of Chip.